Hello and welcome to the Talk with Tariro. On the program today, would like to thank the Adult Rep Clinic for assisting us in bringing this program. We know with COVID-19, we are all trying to come together to ensure that we fight the challenges that it is bringing. And one issue that is there, and I'm sure you'd all concur with me, is the issue of mental health. Where you are locked down, no free movement, restrictions in terms of where you can go, all those are bringing out different dynamics. On the program today, we are joined by Memory Pamela Kadau. She is the co-director for the Adult Rep Clinic. And the issue that we are addressing is the issue of mental health during this period where we have COVID-19 in our midst, in our country, and globally. And not just having COVID-19, but it is wreaking havoc. We have lost a lot of lives globally. Infections surpassing 3 million. Worrying indeed, and every day statistics are increasing. And that statistic is a human being. We need to address that. Memory, welcome to the talk.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for hosting us today.
Yes. What I want to find out from you is what is the situation prevailing when we are looking at the issue of mental health, particularly with COVID-19 amongst us?
Terry, I think the issue of mental health, we are in a difficult situation for everyone. And everyone is affected at different levels because the situation, we have never experienced this situation. There are a lot of stresses that are around us. With some it's grief, with some it's the stress of job security, some with extra gender roles that have been, additionally added. If it's women,
yes,
you are cooking, you are taking care of this, you are taking care of this. And when you're also working, that's another lot. So issues of mental health, this time it's very, I think it's a very high level. Everyone, if we were going to check, even if we watch, we were going to check using the stress test.
Yes,
it will be, I think, at different levels depending on, my triggers at any particular time, but it will be really not the normal, stress levels or, your normal level that you're always like, I'm okay. And if you are talking about mental health, we are talking about the psychological, the mental, and sometimes even the physical. Something is wrong with me. So in general, this is what we are talking about, and this is what we are, observing as, the mental health of most people is not okay in general.
So what do we do? Mental health is not okay. And first, maybe before even looking at what we should do, how prevalent is it? What are the different mental health issues that you have witnessed, especially at community level, when we are looking at people within the community?
So let me just start with the survivors of sexual abuse. Because with the survivors, there are different levels and different manifestations. In our African context, vanogara takawanda.
Yes.
Pa nemure handiti vana tete, vana baunkuru, vana sekuru.
Yes.
So with survivors, some of them are even forced to be confined for the past days.
Yes.
Where we were in lockdown, to be confined in a former abuser or current abuser. So the stress, the depression, and it manifests in at different levels. The stress and the depression. For survivors, it will be, bankurunduo, potential current abuser or former abuse. Now you are being forced to stay with him.
Yes.
Now you are not allowed to go out. You might even be required to seek permission to ende outside to get help. Or you might even be told in a family,
Yes.
but I will not help. There are a lot of issues happening in your mind. You are stressed. With language, it manifests to clinical depression, inenge out to that professional help, and sometimes pharmaceutical tablets. You are seeing this abuser every day. You can't be. Justice cannot, happen. You are being told to keep quiet. Or you can't even share with anyone that experience and seek help and be helped.
So what I'm getting from you, Memo, is this confinement brought about by the lockdown is having a huge impact in our mental well-being, especially when we are looking at the perpetrators, at survivors. So then, me being a survivor, and yes, I've got my abuser within the home. How can that be addressed?
It can be addressed at different levels. At Adult Rape Clinic, our clinic is open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We are attending to cases of those survivors who within 72 hours so that we can prevent HIV, we can treat STIs, we can also prevent unintended pregnancy, and we provide psychosocial support. Why we are doing 72 hours? We also want to protect the survivor, right? And also want to protect the healthcare provider. So that's why we said we are only attending to these emergency cases. But it doesn't mean if it happened a week ago, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, it doesn't mean you can't access help. We've got our nurses and counselors and psychologists that are on the phone that can provide counseling services, that can even link you or refer you to some other services that you might require. It can be legal services, it can be safe shelter. And you feel like I'm not safe. We'll be able to do that immediately. We are working with the police, and as long as you call our phone numbers, if you go on Twitter, on social media, our pages, send a message on WhatsApp, we will just respond to you, and service will be made available. And in terms of the schedule, with the counseling schedule, it can be, you can work on it with your psychologist or counselor in terms of, this is the time yandakasununguka for me to talk to you about my situation. So these are some of the ways that survivors can be helped to address issues of mental health.
Yes, thank you, Memo. I would really want to go deeper into some of these issues, particularly earlier on she spoke about the issues of grief. When you are faced with grief, issues of mental health. We know with COVID-19 now, once a person dies, they have to be buried within the next 24 hours. And mentally as a person, when you have lost somebody, even when you've been abused, how do you deal with that sort of grief when there is no adequate time for you to really address that? So I'm going to ensure that Memo addresses that for us in our next segment. Join us after the break. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion on the talk in the era of COVID-19. Mentally, we are affected. Imagine you face abuse. Imagine you have been raped. And the abuser is with you, because we know movement is restricted. So oftentimes, the person who's abusing me is with me in that particular house, maybe is with me in that particular room, imagine how traumatized I am going to be. Memo, I want to touch on the issue that you talked about earlier on, the issue of dealing with grief. You know, grief comes in many forms. Now with COVID-19, we've heard the proclamation that anybody who dies has to be buried within 24 hours. There is no time for crying. And I've been raped within the home. I've been abused physically. I'm being abused psychologically, emotionally. It's all different forms of grief. Mentally, I'm going to be affected. How can that be addressed?
So yeah, you're right. As Africans or as a people, we've got our rituals, right?
Yes.
The ritual yekutochema munhu kwasvika shoko. Then you start crying, you tell the relatives, you cry together, you eat together, you dance together.
Yes.
It addresses, you're grieving,
Exactly.
and getting closure. So rituals are important. I think also outside then getting professional help, it will be also then important within, the framework that you have. Find a ritual that you think you can, relate with, that you can, do that period, because then the situation is not allowing us kuti mumbobatana natete, mumbochema, mumbotaura, mumbokurukura, pamboitwa nhoroondo. Handiti testimony that we always do kumafuneral, and we remember the life. But now zvakutonzi time, handiti?
Yes.
Within this period of time, masvika kumakuva munenge makataisirwa futi time akuti bye.
Yes.
You can't be, together for a very long time.
Yeah.
So the issue of rituals, so different things for different people.
Yeah.
For Vangwe, it could be time alone, with pictures, with, Vangwe, it could be talking to someone. Look for relatives that you can call, that you can do my voice notes, a lot of things that you can, try to explore, even Marisipo, do the voice notes per WhatsApp, or do, the text messages.
Yes.
Try to just engage in conversation, because it's also part of your grieving process. But also seek help. Do not suffer in silence. There are counselors and psychologists that are actually on standby to assist you. It's a matter of just picking up the call. And also, Mari, you can do a call back chai or text message. I need help. I need someone to talk to.
Memo, I don't have,
Yes.
I know what you're saying. I don't have a phone. The phone that I often use is my husband's. And my husband is the one who's beating me up at home. Maybe I was using my uncle's phone. He's the one who's raping me at home. I'm an adolescent girl. I'm actually confined. I can't go out of the gate. And I can't call auntie or my guru that I used to call. I'm at home with my abuser. Depression sets in. Mental illness sets in.
Exactly.
Kutodunya chaiko kokuti I might even end up going ku chipatara che vane pfungwa dzisina kumira mushe. What happens?
What happens? You're right. Ndio my lived realities chaiwo, and I think the majority of if you are talking about children and adolescents, avatorin means to that. So that's why we were talking about rituals. Self-care. Develop a self-care. If kana chitaura muchirungu, it sounds, it's so exotic and all that. In simple ways, self-care practice, it could be, exercising. Be just walking around the house. It could be vamwe push-ups, vamwe planks, vamwe but different things for different people.
I'm in Epworth. Kamba kangu akakaka, and it's just here.
It's just here.
Zema planks izondezhe kwenyuko, where I am ka ndudata saindri kwabushushua. What do I do?
You ask yourself difficult questions. What do you usually do in your confined space that outside kutizira kwasekuru haisi option?
Yeah.
Tatu kutizira kwasekuru haisi option. Phone haipo.
Yes.
Outside ndodi.
Apamba mna chikafuti.
Mba mna chikafu. It's
Abantu
difficult.
kurowa.
It's very, very
And then there's
difficult.
COVID. I'm even scared. It's coming.
It's very, very difficult. But it's a matter of asking yourself really deep down,
Yes.
what other things can I do? That ndinonzwa ndikaita. Ndinonzwa pfungwa dzichita sei? Dzichitambanuka. For vamwe, they were saying washing. I know the issue of gender roles in handifariri izvozvo. Inenge yatova stress. But for vamwe, it was washing. For vamwe, if you're a woman of faith like me, it's connecting spiritually. It's praying. For vamwe, if you're not like that, it's music. Kana magetsi asiko. It's different things. It's trying to, how can you divert your mind from getting into that deep hole yauri kutaura iyoyo with zvinhu zvauinazvo izvozvozvo. It's unfortunate in our African context. We have never accepted issues around counseling. We've never accepted issues around chaizviziva kuti zviriko, but most of the time you're told snap out of it. Unozviitisa iwewe. Nangati ari kurwara nepfungwa ari kudii, haasi kunzwa mushe. But it's also about looking at yourself, looking deep inside. Kuti with this, the situation, nema resources handinawo aya. What can I do? Zvinoita kuti ndimboita sei? Ndimbobvisa pfungwa apa. Dzichienda apa. But I want to acknowledge it's really difficult, like you're saying. Paspace kadiki, hapana wokutaura naye. Pamwe wokutaura naye ndiye muridzi weproblem. Yachona iyoyo. Yeah. So I want to acknowledge those challenges, but it's all about then you. Really acknowledging that I'm not okay. But in this situation, what can I do with the resources that I have? Zvinondishandira with some it's knitting. Knitting. Kugadzirisa mumba. Torongedza chaiko chaiko. With some taking care of others. With some it's sleeping. Just having your 8 hours plus 8 hours of sleep. You feel better when you wake up.
Well, the point that our memories are emphasizing is to say, these are not our usual times. So it's important that every other remedy that used to be available is not there. So for now, ungatopenge. Saka to make sure mentally you are okay. Find other means of coping. Those habits, those issues that you normally do, interventions that you normally do to remain sane. Let's ensure that we implement them. Join us after the break. As much as COVID-19 is here and is coming with a lot of challenges, there is something that you can do to ensure that those challenges are actually addressed, to ensure that we cope with the different effects that it's bringing. And today our focus is on issues of mental health in this particular period, where with all the challenges that are just coming in, with just being confined, being isolated, all those mentally for some of us is taking its toll. Memo, I want also to find out from you. Yes, we've talked about the different survivors. We also have other people who have already existing mental health issues. What are some of the challenges that they face or they are facing, particularly in this COVID-19 period?
Quite a lot, Tari. Let me start by, just acknowledging that I think for a person asina any disorder, this situation is difficult. And for a person touring a disorder, it's much more difficult. Access to medication, access to the services that angachataura. Umngane routine every week, anoona counselor wati. But azvichaitiki izvozvo. So some of the challenges that we are facing is people with mental health disorder, survivors, who are taking advantage of those people and sexually abusing them because of isolation and confinement.
Yes.
And for those survivors also, sometimes the services are not really accessible.
Yes.
Or sometimes because they have a mental disorder, zvanzi kune COVID,
Yes.
and they know something has happened kwavari, a violation has happened kwavari, but then they are thinking, kana COVID yapera, I can then go and report,
Yes.
or I can then tell someone. Because of confinement, the usual, playing around with other people and then sharing, haiskuitika. So services are kunonoka, ndo mamwe ma-challenges to prevent HIV, STIs and pregnancy. So paanoziwanawo kutaurirawo, handiti anenge atova pamwe neutachiona ane STI.
Yes.
Ava pregnant ine nguva yatifambei for us kuti tichita se-process ye-termination of pregnancy. Ndo mamwe ma-challenges. But however, mamwe ma-challenges ndiye ma-caregivers chaivo who are taking advantage. They know, handiti vanomuziva munhu uyu every day. Antoziva kuti these are the weaknesses, ndiani waanotaura naye. Other caregivers are taking advantage of that and then sexually abusing people, survivors with these challenges.
Yes.
So those are some of the challenges that we are, that we are seeing at ARC.
So how can that be addressed? Because for me, the issue of even a caregiver now taking advantage, I'm looking at community level, we will be knowing that maybe there is a young girl there or that woman who's got mental issues. And as a community, just within that spirit of Ubuntu, you would be knowing that this is happening at that particular household or within this particular community. How can we as individuals just come in as well to alleviate that? Because to be expecting organizations like you to be there every time, sometimes it might not be possible. But we're also saying each person has a role to play to ensure that we also assist in addressing these issues.
I think in the spirit of Ubuntu yawataura iyi, as we start from the home, pacho patiri kutochengeta a survivor in a mental disorder. This, sexual abuse and violence is not, African, and it's not, the Ubuntu that we are talking about. So it's a call and an appeal that consent issues do not take advantage of a person who can't consent, who are you not supposed to have, sexual intercourse with. If you're a caregiver, do your role and your responsibility not to then take advantage of COVID. They can't report to anyone. We start from there. Let's look out for the vulnerable in our community, in our homes. It is our responsibility to defend them. And when we go outside, I think it has been a core, I've been seeing it everywhere, that check on your neighbor, check on the elderly, check on that person that has challenges, that is vulnerable. Are you okay? Some you can meet the needs, some you can't, but it goes a long way. We have cases where, someone was then able to actually open up to a stranger, saka urise and all that, then they were able to open up. Something happened to me. I didn't understand. So it's an appeal that we take care of each other during this difficult time. And also to the caregivers. They are doing good work. Not all of them are perpetrators. We need to acknowledge that. But also be on the lookout. Name signs and symptoms. Because most cases happen within the home. It's the neighbors, it's the surrounding. So be on the lookout for those signs. And, be able to talk and have conversations around this. Chero, if we are in confinement and isolation, we can still talk. We can still go to the police and report. And it's still not okay to take advantage. Yekuti hatina kwatiri kuenda tanzigarai mudzimba. Vamwe tori excuse uda kuti ndiendepi. This is the next person that can provide the services for me. So this having candid conversation and start talking about issues of rape. But kwa chibaro chai. let there be the normal conversation that we have in our homes and check on each other.
What is your parting shot to Zimbabweans, particularly when we are looking at issues of mental health and COVID-19?
Well, to Zimbabwe, firstly, to survivors, do not suffer in silence. We are just a phone call away, or even, seek help. Go to the police, find a way to get help. We are here to assist you. Do not suffer in silence. The services are available. We can assist you. To Zimbabweans, I think in the spirit of Ubuntu, let's continue with the goodwill that I've seen, with the, warm hearts in terms of reaching out, understanding, especially the vulnerable in our communities. Let's not take advantage. Let's take care of them, guard them, even more jealously than, what we usually do. And talk about, sexual violence. It's usually the sex is regarded as a dirty, dirty thing. But let's be on the lookout, have this conversation and assist them when they need help. Do not look at them as, victims or the next person that can give you whatever you want without consent and nothing will happen to you. So that is my appeal to Zimbabweans.
Well, you have heard it. Yes, we have COVID-19. It is in our communities. It is in our country. It is here, even globally. Let's not take advantage of the vulnerable. We are going to be putting up numbers on the screen of where you can actually access help whenever you need, and would like to sincerely thank the Adult Rep Clinic for assisting us in bringing us this episode and giving themselves to you to say, whenever you are facing these challenges, please get in touch with us. We are here to work with you to ensure that we overcome any of these challenges. Until next week, it's goodbye.